Welcome back to KonoSuba Anime Review, episode number 3. This is reviewing episodes 11 to 13. And this is basically, not 11 to 13, 11 to 15. And there's some cutting they did for this particular book. Yeah, they cut out a lot of stuff basically that happened in episode 1 of this season. Oh yeah, and also episode 13 is not adapted from book 3, it is adapted from a story from book 2. Why? Because there's something that happens in episode 15 that ties in, that basically follows that. That's probably the reason why they decided not to adapt this portion of chapter 2 from the previous season, from book 2, previous season, and put it in this season. They probably did that. I don't know why, but that's probably assuming what they did. Episode 11, basically, you have Kasumi, basically, despite the fact he's being charged with treason and conspiring with the Demon King. And the reason for this, because the explosion that happened in the previous season, ended up destroying a lord's house. Yeah, that is pretty petty of a reason why he wanted charged with that. Like, oh crap, this guy blew up my house. I'm gonna charge him with treason. I'm like, seriously? Dude, that is your reasoning for behind this whole nonsense. And they have the interrogation. Oh yeah, and they have a lie detector. If the bell rings, he lies. He basically kind of spills beans that he's from Japan. The fact he came here, he was supposed to shut in. But he says, oh yeah, and then when he has his trial, it's held outside for some reason. Oh yeah, and the Lord basically who's had his house blow up is allowed to sit next to the prosecutor. That is not how trials work. If a Lord basically is, let's just say, been accused, like if he wants to accuse somebody, he sits with the witnesses, with the people. Or at least sit at a separate frickin' table, not at where the prosecutor is supposed to be. This is utterly ridiculous. Also, this setup looks almost exactly like, it's like this scene is carbon copy from Ace Attorney. I mean, you have the judge and the high pedestal, you have the prosecution and defense facing each other. The only difference is that the prosecution and the defendant, they actually swap their tables in this one. Yeah, in this one, the defendant is on the judge's left, and the prosecutor is on the defendant's right. While in Ace Attorney, it's swapped. While the defense is on the judge's right, and the prosecution is on the judge's left. And here's kind of the thing. They cut a lot of the trial here, which is kind of good because Katsumi basically was so confused by this freaking trial that I'm kind of glad they did, because even I was so freaking confused. Like, okay, so they basically, oh yeah, and also the whole thing in the episode where you have, well, the prosecutor, Sana, basically cutting off witnesses where they can probably finish this. Yeah, that's completely true for the manga. Yeah, but she did kind of an arrogant fashion. She really wanted to prosecute Kasumi. Yeah, and this whole farce, like, despite the fact there's no evidence to support, basically, this accusation. Yeah, the Lord, who was an overweight guy, he says, you should compensate me for blowing up my house. Kill him. Last time I checked, this guy is not the frickin' king. He does not have the frickin' authority to do this. Like, I'm surprised Katsumi, who probably knows stuff like this, come out and say, yeah, this guy is full of bullcrap. You're the judge. You have the final authority, not him. Yeah, despite the fact a judge was going to rule not guilty, because the fact of the virtually no evidence to support this. Like, he's about to pronounce guilty, and the doctor's like, nope, pull out a trump card. I'm actually part of this particular house, and he's with me. So, stay of execution. So, she has to go home and deal with other nonsense. Oh yeah, and also they have this thing where in episodes 12, 13, and 14, where she's basically thinking, oh yeah, she's being tortured. Nope, she's being forced to wear a dress. I am not kidding about that. That's seriously what she's doing. Oh yeah, and also while Kasumi was in jail, Mega Man decides to have explosions, and of course during winter. So, a bunch of toads. Of course, also, the Fuel Lord is being so petty, he basically confiscates all of Kasumi and his companions' possessions. All of them, which, yeah, this is utter pettiness on his part. Luckily enough, he doesn't show up after this, because if I was in this series, I would basically say, hey, you, shut up and know your role and shut your mouth. And you're the judge, you're supposed to pronounce this guy not guilty. That's what I would do. Yeah, this guy is full of bullcrap. And by the way, the thing is, nobody trusts this guy because of how petty the man is over destruction of his nice, luxurious house. Like, so what? Nobody frickin' died, and yet you're basically overreacting to your house blowing up. So what? Oh yeah, and what's Darkness up to? Well, she's being forced to be in an arranged marriage. Well, basically with the Lord's son, or the compensator for this. So in episode 13, they decided to have, okay, let's let the characters explore a dungeon. That probably explains why Darkness is not here. So, Megamind stays outside. Well, basically, Kasumi and Akawa basically walk through the dungeon. Oh, by the way, they say, if you find anything, keep it. It's kind of similar how they got their house, so, yeah. So, they used it to, they found this unexplored area. Turns out it was actually the wizard who actually built this place his room. He's still alive, but he's a lich. Yeah, how this was is never explained. And we see that he eloped with the woman he mentioned he kidnapped. Yeah, who actually was in love with him. And the thing is, she's right there. She died peacefully. So, basically, because he knows Aqua's magic, like, thinks he's a priest, so she's actually a goddess. Like, purify me. Like, okay, fine. Purified him. Nothing wrong with that. And though this comes by a little bit later. Next comes episode 14, and this is actually somewhat trimmed down from what is in the manga, a lot like it was with the trial stuff. Yes. Oh, and the whole thing with the explosions. Yeah, woke up a bunch of toads, so this is where it induces Megamind's rival in the series. They mentioned they met her previously in the OVA. This basically is where they first met her. Yeah, saving him from a bunch of toads. And, like, challenge. Yeah, and the fact covered with goo, so... Yeah, so they said they go back to their house, by because Aqua basically where they go pay off the toads. So what they decided to do, because Megamind has no magic, barely any, so Cosmic just bathe together. Yep, bathe together. And well, lucky enough she doesn't show her naughty bits because she's wearing a towel, and he's wearing a towel too. And everything's going fine until Aqua shows up, and of course Kasumi basically decides to freeze the frickin' door so Aqua doesn't come in. I mean, you could just simply lock the door. You don't have to frickin' freeze it. And of course, this does get mentioned a little bit. This gets mentioned in a little bit later when Yuri showed up. Where, yeah, we're so involved together, we actually bathe together. It's like, what? You actually just pull your cheeks? I thought that was so funny. Yep. And as for the whole marriage thing, okay, so in order to not have him basically go after him, arrange where his son marries his son marries Darkness. Here's the thing: Darkness's father can give two craps about the guy. He doesn't like him at all. He thinks he's just a jerk, which rightfully so because the guy is. Luck out the guy doesn't paragraph this. I don't know if he does or not because I haven't read past book 4 yet. So. And like with the trial, like I said, this is somewhat trimmed down compared to how it was in the manga and in the light novels, where basically it's just meet the guy. She's about, of course, Katsumi decided to become the butler, I'll become the maid. By the way, she doesn't do anything, and of course he has to keep her in line. Just make sure he doesn't sabotage the interview. So he trips on her dress, and then of course they walk outside. And of course, Aqua decides to play with the fish. Because she's the goddess of water. And then basically, after a while, Darkness got fed up with this, tore up her freaking skirt. Look how she left a little bit to come up her panties. Like, I challenge you. And of course, well, and then we cut to them basically fighting with wooden swords. And he's like, I admit defeat. You are okay. And then Katsumi decides to just challenge her. And basically, well, first thing he does, gets her wet by shooting a bunch of water and then freezing her, and then eventually they fight for a while, and then he's the kind where it's like, I'm gonna do something to you you're embarrassed about. Yep. Of course, this is mentioned a bit later. And then, of course, Darkness's father comes in. Marriage's been called off. It's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. And then, of course, they're called to deal with the whole dungeon stuff again. Look up Darkness is there with a brand spanking with her armor. So she and Katsumi go in to deal with whoever's behind us. Who is behind this? A Demon King general named Vladimir. Yeah, Veneer. Yeah, his name is Veneer. He is voiced by Robbie Damon, who's actually a really good voice actor. Yeah, he's actually in a few different series I've watched. Those of you who are Sailor Moon fans, he's the voice of Tuxedo Mask. Yep, in the series, in the Vismia dub of the original series, and in Cinnamon Crystal. He is also in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where he voiced the character Smokey Brown. He's also the voice of Gil Thunder from Seven Deadly Sins, the leader of the what's it, Carl Leffler, who's the leader of the Phantom Troop. Mm-hmm. Yep. He's also in Demon Slayer. He voices. Hence, I don't remember who this guy is. He's also in Boruto. He voices Mitsuki. So yeah, the guy gets around. Yeah, he's a guy who wears a mask, and he basically has got a death wish. Oh yeah, and the fact he can't do it in Monster because there's some circle there, which of course Aqua basically did. How they got here is simply this: Shauna shows up after basically deal with Megamind, a bunch of explosions. Like, okay, so basically Kasumi takes Aqua to a corner, basically tells her that she's responsible for this, and then bops her in the head. Yeah, it's a recurring gag in the series. He bops her in the head, and then of course she's sorry, but of course she doesn't want to go. But she's traumatized by the dungeon, so that's when Darkness and Kasumi comes in with a Veneer. But before they confront Veneer, they confront these adorable little things, and they're basically walking explosives. Yep, and then they confront him, and they kill him pretty easily after basically him being tripped over a rock. So he possesses darkness, and she apparently gets off on him being possessing her. Like, I'm gonna show you so much pain. It's like, it's like, okay. He's like, you deal with that. I'm gonna go in here and deal with the magic circle. So he wipes it all down, and then they go out basically because he's a Demon King General. And then of course, like, okay, we gotta figure out a way to kill her, to kill the mask. So takes the thing by burning out. Of course, I was using steel, but nope. It uses fire magic, burns all the talisman he was given by Sonic before he got in. And then they destroy the mask by having Megamind use an explosion on Darkness herself, and of course she's perfectly fine, thanks to healing up from Aqua. Though her armor is damaged, she's basically very squinty, she doesn't have her armor on, so she's given a brand new set of armor. The target gets Katsumi basically dropped, they're out of debt, and they get a lot of possessions back. Kudos. And they got 40 million. Not bad. So all in all, pretty good set of episodes, but yeah, I think that basically what they did with the whole marriage interview episode, which is episode 14, and the try, what I think it was episode 12, I think it was. 12? No, I think it was 11. I think 11 or 12 was one of the two episodes. Yeah, I think that trimming that stuff down really helped because the trial was utterly ridiculous in the light novel. What I've read, yeah, it was utter nonsense. The fact that Katsumi couldn't understand what the heck was going on. Oh, and how they dealt with him is quite weird. Like, okay, apparently Aqua in the light novel was his attorney. So in the anime, it's like basically his three companions are sitting at the defendant's table, and he's like sitting off in the corner, which is like basically 19th century style stuff, which I thought that was kind of weird. Hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, and also they didn't call any witnesses. I think call maybe like one witness. I think it was like actually call a few witnesses, but they didn't call Wits. Nope, they didn't call her to the stand. For some reason, they decided not to call her. I don't really know why. Oh, and by the way, the whole state trial thing that basically was partly due to dealing with the Demon King in general. Oh, and they don't mention Veneer. The not Veneer, the guy who was the first Demon King General they encountered. Yeah, I think he's mentioned once here, and doesn't really talk about him very much. Yeah. But not much else to say when it comes to this particular set of episodes for the series. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. Stay tuned for today. Now, I thought that last day was My Hero Academia coming out yesterday, but nope. It's today. That's when the new episode gets resumed today. And I'm hoping also going to say One Piece and Boruto and probably another one for this one. It's basically about 4 or 5 more videos today. So basically it'll be One Piece, actually My Hero Academia, One Piece, Boruto, probably review this chapter Demon Slayer, and another one for this series. Probably about 6 videos overall, okay? See you next video. Bye.